Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Velonimo.
Velonimo.
Velonimo. Okay.
Whatever it's called.
Velonimo is designed by Bruno Cathala. The artwork is by Dominique Mertens, and it is published by 20th Century Games.
Oh, a nice mug you have there, Bethany. Yes. So in this game, basically, you have all these different... You're trying to win a race, right? It's a bicycle race. But you're not just like regular old people, because that'd be boring.
Yeah.
You are these anthropomorphic animals pedaling as fast as possible. Basically, this game kind of lives in that mysterious world between the hobby games and also like traditional card games from our youth and our family, lore. So this is a game that... you're trying to shed your cards from your hand as fast as possible. Whenever you get rid of your hands of cards, you're going to get some victory points. Give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here's our setup for Velonimo. Basically, this is a game where you are trying to get rid of your hand of cards as fast as possible. But the only way to do that is to play either a card or a series of cards that is higher than the previous card or series of cards that has been played. So what does that look like? Well, first of all, maybe someone starts off with playing a 1. All right, so in this case, that has a special ability. That's the only card that has that. In this case, you steal a card from some other player without looking at their hand, and then you look at it, and you either keep it and put it in your hand and give them a different card back, or if you don't like it, you just give them their card back. But basically, it gives you a little bit of information, and possibly gives you a chance to make a larger and better set in your hand. All right, the next person in line, they're like, okay, well, I can do better than that. I can do a 4. So now we've got a 4 on top of a 1. But now the next player, what they can do is they can play 2 cards. What you do is you multiply how many cards you've played by 10, and then you take the lowest card that you played and add that to that total. So we've got 2 cards, so 2 times 10 equals 20, and then our lowest card there is a 2, so we played 22. That's the number that we played. Now when you play a set of cards, they either have to be all the same number or all the same color. So we played 2 2s there, so that is a legal play. When it's your turn to play, you can actually choose not to play a card or a series of cards. You can actually skip your turn. And later on, when it's still your turn again, you can come back to you and you do get to play. So it's not like once you pass, you're out. A lot of games have that kind of a mechanism going on. No, in this case, you can actually do have a chance to come back in. Like maybe you have a huge set of cards, but you're holding on to it until a later part of the round. All right, but in this case, let's say the next person in line plays that. They play 2 4s. So once again, you take the 2 cards they played, multiply by 10. That's going to be a 20 plus the 4, which is the lowest card played. So a 24 is higher than a 22. It keeps on going. And now, the next person in line, they're going to play that. They're going to be able to play 3 cards. That's 30, plus the lowest card, which is a 5. There's also these kinds of cards. Those are the hares, also known as the breakaway specialist cards. They can only ever be played by themselves, but they're really, really strong. So in this case, the previous set of cards had 35, so this 40 can go on top of that, and that's fantastic. All right. But then the next player has their turn. They're going to play that series of cards. They're all blue. There's 4 of them. That's 40 cards or 40 points plus the lowest card, which is a 2. That's a 42. Nobody else has any cards that can beat that or series of cards, so that's going to finish out the hand. Basically, what's going to happen is all these cards are going to get discarded, and we're going to keep on playing with the cards that are in our hand, starting with the person who finished off that last set of cards. Kind of gives them a chance to basically get 2 turns in a row. And we're going to keep on doing that until players start running out of cards in their hand entirely. Once you do that, the first person who runs out of cards counts all the other players who still have cards in their hand. And what they're going to do is they're going to get that many points multiplied by what round it is. So the first round, let's say you're playing a 4-player game, and you're the first person to go out. Well, there's 3 people who still have cards left in their hand, and there's only the first round, so you're going to multiply that 3 times 1. That first round, if you win that, is going to be worth 3 points. If you're the second person to go out, there's still 2 people who are in the round. So same thing, you're going to get 2 points times 1. And the third place, even they're going to get at least 1 point because there's still 1 person they're beating. Every round that's going to happen. But the next round, you're going to multiply all that times 2 because it's the second round. You're going to play a total of 5 rounds, and that 5th round is going to be very lucrative. So if you're the first person to go out in a 4-player game on the 5th round, boy, it's going to be the 3 people who you are out ahead of times the 5th round. So you're going to get 15 points, which is a ton. You're going to add up all of your points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Now, there is this kind of a trophy card over here. This is a plus 10 card. That is going to be awarded to whoever went out of the previous round first. It's basically just kind of a wild card that adds 10 to any set. So basically, if you have a situation like we had over here, where we had a 42, you can tag that onto it and just make it into a 52. Because it basically can make any set into a stronger and stronger hand. But once you use it, it's kind of a one-time use. It goes back to the center of the table. to be awarded again to whoever has the most points at the end of the next round.
I was a huge fan of this artwork. It was so cute and adorable to see all these little animals on all these little different types of bicycles too. It wasn't just all the same bicycle. They were all very different bicycles, all these different animals. It was super adorable. And here's what I want, okay?
What do you want?
Dominique Mertens, this is what I want. I want a picture book based off of this. And I want these picture books in the library. And then I want to take that picture book and I want to make a story time out of it. And then you can play the game afterwards with the kids. See where I'm going here with this?
Oh, yes.
I think we can make a thing happen. I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
I love the speed of this game. You're kind of just basically chucking cards out there, right? On your turn, you're basically just determining what you want to play, or even determining whether you not to play that particular hand, and you just throw cards down there, and it's on to the next person. You're either creating a set of colors or a set of numbers. It's very, very fast. It's very, very, very quick. So I just love, you're just kind of checking these cards.
Yeah. You
do have to slow down every once in a while whenever there's a card that has a special ability, like the turtle, that allows you to kind of mess with people's hands a little bit and kind of steal from their cards and give them some cards back, or whatever the case is. But overall, these turns are lightning fast.
I think games that give you just a little bit more to what somebody already knows is awesome. And this game was very similar to Rummy. And so people who are already familiar with that, you can say, this is kind of like Rummy, and then you can get them to play it. So I think it's always cool when a game can do that, when a game can kind of like reach just a little bit outside. So that was pretty neat.
I will say one of the things for me about this game that was a little less fun was the lack of decisions. I felt like, your real decisions were to play a hand or to not play a hand. It was kind of felt a little bit programmed. At the beginning, when you were dust your hand, you're simply just going to lay it all out there, group things by numbers and colors, and then once it's your turn, you're going to determine what out of those is the next highest number. If something's, somebody played a 29 ahead of you, well, you need to play at least a 30. And so you've eliminated half your hand right there. And so if you have something that's over that, you play it. And if you don't, you don't. So it's kind of felt a little bit programmed. You don't have a ton of choices to make on your turns. Another thing is, the box says 2 to 5 players. But once we actually cracked open the box, we determined that it's 3 to 5 players with a 2-player variant. And on top of that, it kind of says, play the 3 to 5 player game, and then you'll know how to play the 2-player game by reading the extra rules. Well, when we first opened it up, we only had 2 of us.
For our first play, yeah.
We didn't have, a way to play it with 3 players and then figure out the 2-player version. So we just had to, kind of hypothesize what that looked like and then add in the rules. And on top of that, the 2-player rule, we also kind of a flaw with the scoring during the 4th round if you were already tied, because you needed a certain amount of points to win, but the 4th round would never, ever provide that if you were tied going into it. So there's just a weird thing with the 2-player rules.
But it's a variant. So it's a 2-player variant. Because that's just not what the game wanted. The game wanted to be a 3 to 5 player game. That's what the game wanted to do. That's where it lived in. That's when the passing was fun. Because in 2-player, when you pass, that's the end, right? But in a multiple players, you can pass. And I think that's the unique thing about this game. Whenever you have a game that you can pass in, that's it. That's it for you. But this was the only game I've seen that where you pass and you can actually re-enter into that. And that only shines at the 3 to 5 player count. So, with that said, I feel like they should have put 3 to 5 on the box. And I know that a lot of people don't like to do that with games because then you feel like you're eliminating the audience. If somebody sees on a box that only plays 3 to 5 and not 2 to 5, then they're just not interested in it. And here's the reason why I think you could have done that is because the 2-player variant was fine, but it's not a game that we're looking for when we're playing 2-player. I would have preferred this if I had known that it was geared towards the 3 to 5 player mark, and I would have had a much more enjoyable experience with it. Those people who play a lot of 2-player games will probably be a little disappointed with what this game has to offer. Whereas if it were advertised as the game wanted it to be played, the 3 to 5 player, then you would find the audience who is able to play it would be able to enjoy it.
So I think just putting 3 to 5 player with 2-player variant would solve all of our problems.
All of our problems.
Because at the higher player counts, it was a great time.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, that's all I have to say about this one. This is a great one to play with your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, anybody who's used to playing card shedding games, trying to get rid of their hands as fast as possible. I think they're going to have a blast with this one. It kind of blurs the line between the hobby games and those classic card games in a really great way.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, consider leaving us a tip. There is a link down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out. Until then, you can follow us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.